Hello guys, I'm Asif Ali and you're watching CGHOW video, and today I have found this reference where this is the League of Legends game reference from this YouTube channel Skin Spotlight, and you see this guy is shooting multiple arrows together that is aligned with a same gap between those, and when one is colliding then it's divided into two bunch of arrows. And I have similar reference here also. This is also League of Legends. So how you create this type of effect? I will just create a prototype of effect, not exactly same effect, but I'll show you how to create this type of effect. So let's start this tutorial. First of all, subscribe my YouTube channel and also click on bell icon so you will receive all new video notification. So I have this empty project Unreal Engine 5 and I quickly create a Niagara arrows, and this is what I have. Let me just adjust the UI. So I have this, and if you I'll just use this velocity line so I can stretch them, and I'll delete all unwanted modules, and I need to just spawn burst, like I'm bursting 5 particles and 2 loop, and let's say life I said 1.8. okay, slightly lower than the loop. Okay, so now if I take the torus, so this particle will spread on that torus, and if I'll take the velocity from point and increase to maybe 200 or 500, you can see these are all spreading from the center sorry. And in this torus I have 2 radius, so if I make it 0, nothing will change now. But if I see here, so these are randomly scattering on the torus. So in this torus, this is randomly distribution. So if I make this direct, so every time this will shoot here, but you have this V and U and V. So V is the radius, that is the 100, and V is the second radius. If I make it 20, this is the second radius. Okay, now I don't need this one and I have this thing. So if I multiply this with execution, so now all my 5 particles scattering on this, and I can, with this multiplier, I can decide the gap between those. So I have now this gap, and these are shooting like this, and I can of course change the size. So I have these shooting arrows like that reference in here, and this arbitration link is this guy Calvin here. He created this, so all credit goes to him. I'm just trying to create some prototype of this, so originally they have the credit of that fact. So I have this, and what if first is, if you want like this, one is colliding and then these are separating, you can do that. You can just increase these, and you can increase the gap, and you can just set collision, and I can add one more module, that is kill particle, and connect it with has collided. So the particle, if particle will collide, it will kill that. So if we check that here in our viewport, let's make this little bigger, and let's also change the color to red so it will be visible in our viewport. So I'll move this here slightly up, and now if I take the sphere put it here and increase the size. You can see the particle colliding with the sphere dying and rest is going. So this is similar to this effect, but here it is very easy, you can do easily. But here's the trick: if you want these two different bunch of arrows in one emitter, how you'll do that? So like you have these red one and I just want the 5, and let's decrease the gap. So I want 5 green beside this. So in single emitter, if you want to do that in the 2 emitter, you can easily do that. You can duplicate this and you can just change the color to green. It's now overlapping, and in this torus you can change the normalized angle. So now you have red and green, two different group of particles, but I want to do that in a single particle, a single emitter. So delete this one. Now here you have 5 particles, that is red, and I want 5 more particles, so I can make it 10. But no, not this way. I'll just duplicate this, Ctrl C Ctrl V, and in this I'll make this group spawn group 1. This is spawn group 0 by default, and this is now 1. And in this torus, if I duplicate this torus also, copy and paste, and this one, if I open all the properties, here is the spawn group. So I want to use the spawn group 1 for this, and now nothing is visible till now. Okay, so if I rotate this, now you can see I have 2 particle system in one. And let me just change the color also. So if I take the color, so you will have better understanding, and let me make it default white here, and in color Lerp, and make one red, make second green, and this is the Lerp. So if I connect this spawn group, and spawn group is integer, so first I will make this integer, and then connect it with spawn group. And now you will see it divided according to the spawn group. One is red, one is green, and green particle has some gap between, and if you want to maintain that gap, you can rotate this. But here's the problem: when I'm rotating here, or maybe exactly 0 overlapping, why is the radius of torus is changed here? The radius of the torus is same, 100 and 100. So why is that offset here? Because I'm using this normalized execution ID, and for this execution ID it takes these particles 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but these are 5, 6, 7, 8 like this. Okay, so it has different execution ID. So one thing you can do, I don't know if it will work or not, you can subtract execution ID from these green one. So let's say if I have these green one placed here and I want to move these here, so here you have execution ID in your torus. So if I subtract your execution from your execution ID some value, and because execution ID is integer, let me make it integer, and if I decrease the value, it's actually adding because I'm making it minus. See, the gap is maintained, but if I make it closer, it's again there. So let me okay, so there is issue. It is somewhat working but not exactly. So I'll just reset this and I'll connect it with execution ID again. So second thing what you can do is, because you have this thing this thing 0 and this thing also 0. So when I use this color, you can see this red one is the original, and this green one which we are working on to move the offset. So we are working on the second one according to this lerp. So here I will take my position from this parameter, and let's lerp this like we lerp the color, and I copy this integer and spawn group and paste this here in my lerp alpha, and now I have two positions. So you know, here the red one is original, so this is my upper one for the red particle, so I will connect it directly to the position. So red fixed. Now we have green one. So in green one we have this 1 value, but we want to add something on my existing position. So I will copy this position and add here, or you can multiply and paste this here, and now it also moves the original position, but now I have this value to offset it. So let me make it float, and now I can decide where it starts. So now in torus I can move this angle, and now in position I can move this up and down. See, so in one particle you have two group of particles and slightly offsetted from the center. And now if you want to make the trail, control W to duplicate this, and this is your lead particles and this is your trail, and simply you need to delete all these modules and not color, not collision, not kill particle. And in this one lead particle I will turn on persistent ID and take the generate location event, and in this trail I will use this event handler and use this location on spawn particle, make it 1, and also take receive location, and in initialize ribbons because I want to use the ribbons, and I'll turn this off and use the ribbon. And I don't have any material right now, but it's okay. But you can see these ribbons are now spawning from your trails. And let me just quickly make a material M trail. I don't have any texture, so let me import a noise texture if I have any. Okay, so let me make this looks fine. So not here, in material I'll use this texture, and quickly you mask preview. I need red one and I need this black one here, so I will invert this, and if I'll preview, the black is, let me preview, black is here. I want to increase that black, so I will power it, maybe 4. Then I'll multiply it with this noise texture, this aura texture, and I'll use the pen, not this direction, 0.5 -1 maybe, and I'll set some dialing, 0.2 and 0.5, and I'll decrease this now, and I'll take quickly particle color. This will go directly to the emissive, and this will go to opacity, and make it translucent, unlit. If you want to make double side, you can make double side. Just save this, and I'll use this material here in my ribbons, and I'll take in particle update ribbon scale width and make it a curve, smooth this and make it little bigger, and I can also change the color of this. So like I have these trails, and I can use some curl noise here to make this curly, and you can see this trail is coming out from the center of the particle because the pivot is here. So you can offset the lead particle pivot like this, so now it will take from the here, and you can also do that here in generate. This is not this gapping. So if I reset the pivot to 0.5, and I can change this gapping, see, I can do that also. Okay, and one more thing you can do, because these ribbons are now camera facing thing, you can make, because in Unreal Engine 5 and 2.7 you have, I think in 2.7, yes it is, you can change the ribbon shape to the tube, and now it is like a mesh, and you can change the segment, it will a cylindrical. Okay, and one more thing, these ribbons are red. If you want to take the same color as your particle source lead, so these ribbons should be green, these ribbons should be red. So in this event handler, no option is there, although you can make your own module to take the color through the particle attribute reader, but we have already something, so we can use that. So I'll just delete this generate location, delete this handler. Okay, and instead of this, I'll type here from spawn particle from the other part emitter, and type the name of your lead particle and fix this. It will generate one more module. Fix this also, move this ribbon above this, and in this module you need to set the IDs as ribbon ID. So now particle are spawning similarly like before, like event handler. There is some jerk in that because of the spawn rate, so I will make this 100 and make the limit like 1000. So now it's spawning, but it's not taking the color. So you can go to this module, and in color you can use the attribute now same color. And now what you can do is you can also reduce or increase this to 25 and decrease this, and now this looks something else. Yeah, but you got the idea. You have now something you can make, and you can also increase the spawn rate of your red or green. And there is some problem in ribbons, you can see, although I have done everything properly, so there should not be any issue, but I think in UE5 early access 2 it has some issue, because if you will try this same thing in Unreal Engine 4.27 or other version, I think you will not have this issue, because this is I think UE5 issue. So now you got the idea, and you can also add the particles. Like if I duplicate this trail again, and I'll delete this ribbon, and I'm using this sprite renderer, and I'll delete this ribbon, and I will reset this ribbon ID, and I will change the sprite size to 1 or 10, and also I will take the sphere location to 10, and life is, I can make it random 1.2.5, and also make the particle to die with scaling out. So I will just make the sprite size and make the float, make the curve, smooth this, So you can also make like this and increase the curl noise, so it will look good, and it's taking color from the same particle. So you got the idea. You can now create this type of thing, and if I show in viewport, you can see still these are dying on collision, so no worry about that. Okay, so that's it. I hope you learned something new in this tutorial, and if you still have any query, you can just comment below the video, and you can download this simple project from my Patreon. And thanks for watching. Keep learning. Bye bye.